Hi, Dr. Tanya here with Tuesday's Tips, and today's show is for the kids. That's right, you guys. You asked me questions. You wanted me to talk to you more about coronavirus, wearing masks, camp, and going back to school. And so today I'm going to talk to you, not your parents, but you. So if you have any questions, ask your parents to leave them below, and I will come back and answer them for you. So I know that so much has changed from your daily routine and what you're used to. And many of you have been home for a few months trying to stay safe. You haven't been able to see your friends or go to your activities because there's this virus around called coronavirus. And my 5-year-old keeps saying, Mommy, when is coronavirus going to go away? I don't like coronavirus. And I agree with all of you out there. I don't like coronavirus either. But because it's still out there, we all do need to do our part to keep ourselves and our families and our friends as safe as possible. So some of you are going to begin going to activities, and that may be a small distance activity at the park that your parents let you go to. Like today I had a patient who told me she went to a cheerleading camp where they all stood 10 feet away and practiced doing some cheers. And that's great exercise and fun, and she got to see her friends. I've had other patients whose parents are letting them go swim at a friend's house as long as they stay on opposite sides of the pool and they stay in the backyard. And again, these are all fun activities that can be done safely. Some camps started today, depending on where you live across the country. And that's going to look a little different than it has in past years. I dropped off my son at camp this morning, and cars were all spread apart. We went in one family at a time. We got asked questions like, are you or anyone in your family not feeling well? Do any of you have a fever or cough? And then we all said no. They sent us to the temperature check station. And when the temperature was normal, as long as the kids were wearing a mask, which we're going to talk about, they were allowed to go to their camp group. Camp groups were small and spread out, but they still did plenty of fun activities. They also, you had to go wash their hands a lot. So when you're in activities, you may be asked to wash your hands a lot. You also may be asked to put your arms out far and turn around like a windmill. Oops, I just spilled my water. And then to make sure you don't hit your friends next to you, because that is being a safe distance away from each other. So that's a good rule of thumb. When you spread out your arms, you want to make sure nobody's sitting close enough to you that you can touch them or they can touch you. And the other thing that we're all going to need to do when we're inside, when we can't be stretched out super far from our friends, is wear a mask. I know that many of you don't like masks. They're not fun. You might think they're hard to breathe through. They smell yucky. It's just weird, right? And I agree with you. It's not something that we are used to doing here in the United States. So I'm going to give you some tips to let you, so you can practice and get used to wearing a mask before you go back to activities where you may need to wear one. So the first thing is, you can watch your friends wear masks, whether they're real friends or stuffed animal friends or baby friends. My son has a lot of baby friends all over the house wearing masks. And by baby friends, I mean stuffed animals, not real babies, because we know that real babies actually shouldn't wear masks. Choose a mask that you like wearing. There's so many different ones. They're different materials. Kind of like lifting your shirt up over your face. Some are thin, and you can breathe through them, so you can practice like that. You can also have fun little competitions with your siblings and your parents. See who can wear the mask while you count to 10, 20, 30 while you're getting used to it. You can have some treat parties afterwards. And you can ask your parents, if you wear a mask, then can you go do some fun activities? Like we took my son to feed a horse because he was wearing a mask. And he got really excited about that. And that was something he couldn't do unless he wore a mask. So how do you appropriately put a mask on, which you're going to need to learn if you're going to be going to any camps or activities or back to school this fall. So the first thing you want to do is wash your hands or use hand sanitizer, which you'll all probably be carrying with you. And rub for 20 seconds, fronts, backs, between the fingers, all around. Then you're going to pick up the mask on the side by the loops. You are going to put it over your face and loop the loops behind your ears like that. You can move the mask if you need to so it's over your nose and mouth, and then you want to try not to touch it. Just like you want to try not to touch your face during the day when you're in camp activities or at school. Now, if there's a little area that you can pinch above your nose, you can do that to help keep it from falling down, or you can ask an adult to do that for you if you need help. Make sure the mask covers your nose and your chin all the time. I know some people like to walk around with their nose hanging out. That's not appropriate. That's really silly and doesn't work. The reason we wear a mask is so that when we breathe and talk, our germs stick to the mask and they don't go over and land on our friends. And when your friends wear masks, then when they talk and breathe, their germs don't come over and land on you. So it's to keep everybody healthy, because our goal is not only to protect ourselves, but also to protect our friends, our family, and the community too. So when it's time for a water break, snack break, lunch break, or time to run around outside without a mask, how do you take it off? Well, you clean your hands again with soap and water or hand sanitizer, again 20 seconds. Hold it by the loops and pull it off. Now, you don't want to throw it on the ground, on a table, on a surface. If your parents can give you a little cute bag to put it in, that's sort of the best place to do it. Or you can put it over your wrist if your hands are clean and let it kind of hang and air dry. Now, sometimes you need more than one mask. So in many camps and schools, they're saying when you have lunch, you're going to take your mask off and take it home to be washed or throw it away. And then after lunch, you're going to put a clean mask on, especially because sometimes they get yucky inside during the day. So having a few masks for school is always a good idea. You want to avoid touching the outside of the mask because that's the dirty part. So now I got to wash my hands again. Wash, wash, wash. And when you're not wearing a mask and you're outdoors running around, seeing your friends, doing chalk on the ground, whatever you like to do, make sure you stay in arm's distance from your friends. So those are some of the things that are going to be different when you go to school this year. Also, you might have smaller classrooms where the desks are a little bit apart, and your teacher might say, you know what, it's really important that you stay in your seat more than we used to when we used to walk around the class and have circle time. And the activities we do are going to be a little different. So we might each have our own science box with our own science activities. So we're not sharing different items between our friends without washing our hands, because that's also how people can sometimes get sick. There might also be schools where, in order to keep the numbers down, the number of friends down, you only go to school every other day or part-time. And the other time you might be home with your parents or somebody else, and you might be doing some of those Zoom classes like you remember from a few months ago, where you can see your teachers and see your friends, but you're not physically present. And sometimes it's going to be a mix of everything depending on your community and how much the virus is there, and also how your parents feel about letting you go to school or other activities. Sometimes, because people in our family might be high risk, we might have to stay home a little longer. And then there might be other times where your parents have to go to work, such as I'm a doctor, I have to go to work every day, so my kids need to go to activities and school and do things. But we're going to try to have rules so we can do it as safely as possible. There also might be times where somebody that you know at school gets sick, and then everybody else has to stay home too. And that may keep happening throughout the school year. The good news is that when kids get coronavirus, they usually do well. And they have a cold and a cough and they feel yucky and they might have a fever, but your mom or dad will take you to your pediatrician's office and we will treat you and help get you better. Other things you can do to help stay healthy are make sure you're getting enough sleep, you're eating a good healthy diet, so fruits, vegetables, protein, all those things that mommy and daddy say that you should eat are really important to help keep your body healthy. Also, it's a good idea to run around and get exercise every day. That's also really good for your body. So any other questions that you have on summer activities, camp activities, or going back to school, please leave them here. I love talking to kids. That's what I do every day as a pediatrician, and I am happy to help explain to you how to keep yourself safe so you can also get back to activities and have fun.